Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, July 8th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with WWE Smackdown broadcast live last night on Fox from Madison Square Garden. The show began and closed with segments featuring the Bloodline, with Jey Uso issuing a direct challenge to Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship in the final segment after chasing him and Solo Sikoa from the ring with a steel chair. The segment was a continuation of the Tribal Court segment that began the episode, which featured the Usos brawling with Reigns and Sikoa, leading to Jimmy Uso being taken away in an ambulance after repeatedly being hit with Reigns' championship belt and put through the announce table by Sikoa.
And now Roman starting to bury Jey Uso under chairs at the announce table. Officials out here trying somehow to stop this ferocious assault. Meanwhile, Jimmy Uso on top of the announce table. And Solo trying to do what he couldn't do with Money in the Bank. Splashing through Jimmy, through the table.
Edge, whose history in Madison Square Garden goes back 25 years, made his return to a WWE ring for the first time in 2 months, defeating Grayson Waller in Waller's MSG debut.
Face first goes Edge as Waller gets out of harm's way.
Oh, we've seen this before, Cole.
Waller was going for his finishing move. The rolling stunner, but Edge spears him out of midair, and Edge with the win.
The match was made during Edge's appearance on the Grayson Waller Effect interview segment earlier in the night. Io Sky attempted to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase on WWE Women's Champion Asuka during a segment in which Asuka had been attacked by Bianca Belair. But Sky was prevented from cashing in by both Belair and Charlotte Flair, who had come out to save Asuka from Belair's attack. In other results, Austin Theory successfully defended the United States title against Sheamus, and AJ Styles pinned Karrion Kross. Following the broadcast, the live audience at the Garden witnessed a WWE World Heavyweight title main event in which title holder Seth Rollins retained the championship against Finn Balor. Later in the evening, AEW presented the 100th edition of Rampage on TNT, featuring matches taped last Wednesday at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. In the opener, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Evil Uno of the Dark Order defeated Hangman Page and the Young Bucks of the Elite when Page was pinned by Uno. The finish occurred when the Blackpool Combat Club intervened, with Konosuke Takeshita distracting the referee while Claudio Castagnoli attacked Page.
Take the buckshot, lariat on his former friend, and look at that! Oh, Uno!
Yeah, Uno knew it was coming.
Konosuke Takeshita! Oh my gosh! Oh, by Uno! Oh, it's Claudio Castagnoli! Uno ducked so fast he might as well have quacked! A devastating uppercut from Claudio Castagnoli! And Uno gets the pin! Uno gets the pin!
This match, Dark Order!
Konosuke Takeshita was just a diversion, just a ruse for Claudio Castagnoli to come in and crack Hangman Adam Page.
In two blind eliminator tag team tournament quarterfinals, Brian Cage and Big Bill defeated Matt Sydal and Trent Beretta, and Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara defeated Matt Hardy and Jeff Jarrett.
Sleepless down again, and now Matt Hardy up in the grip of Sammy Guevara. Danny made a tag there, though, if you didn't see. Guevara, GTH, and Daniel Garcia comes in, the cover, and the win. Great teamwork there.
Winners of this match and advancing in the blind eliminator tag team tournament, the team of Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia.
I'm not so sure that Guevara's going to agree with that great teamwork.
Ethan Page saved Hardy from a post-match attack by Jarrett and Jay Lethal. In other results, Hikaru Shida defeated Marina Shafir. With some more WWE news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
The 37th Annual Survivor Series will emanate from the All-State Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, on Saturday, November 25th, according to an official announcement yesterday. The previous night's edition of Smackdown will also take place at the All-State Arena, according to the statement. The Allstate Arena, previously known as the Rosemont Horizon, was also the location of the 1989 and 2019 editions of Survivor Series. WWE has enacted a new official firearm policy for its events and facilities in the state of Florida. The written rule, which includes the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, explicitly bans all firearms and other concealed weapons at company events. This follows the constitutional bill signed last April by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, which went into effect on July 1st, allowing the concealed carry of weapons in Florida without a government-issued permit. According to the new rule, anyone bringing a firearm or other weapon to a WWE event in the state of Florida will be asked to return it to their vehicle before entering the building. Weapons will not be allowed to be checked at the arena for pickup after the show. For the wrestling news, I'm Lou Kipilman.
An update on next month's AEW All-In pay-per-view event in London, England. Earlier this week, the event reached more than 75,000 tickets distributed for Wembley Stadium, with roughly 68,000 sold and the rest comps, according to a report in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The report also indicated a current live attendance gate of $8.6 million. Both attendance and gate figures are records for the company. Wembley Stadium is expected to be set up for 87,825 seats on the day of the event, which will be Sunday, August 27th. The only prior wrestling event ever held at Wembley was the WWF SummerSlam 92, which drew 80,355 fans. In ratings news, last Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite drew a total audience of 855,000 to TBS, according to WrestleNomics. That's an increase of nearly 6% from last week's audience of 809,000. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the show drew a .29, up more than 20% from last week's .24 key demo rating, and making Dynamite the #1 show for the evening on cable TV in the key demo. In injury news, Wheeler Yuta sustained a damaged hamstring during his match with Kenny Omega on last Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The injury was described as a partial tear, and Yuta is still expected to be able to take part in the Blood and Guts cage match, pinning the Elite against the Blackpool Combat Club at the July 19th Dynamite from the TD Garden in Boston. With some more AEW news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
CM Punk was a leader in AEW merchandise sold in the month of June, according to a WrestleNomics report. Punk's merchandise outsold AEW's own company-branded merchandise, which came in second place in the report. The next three in the top 5 merchandise movers were, in order, Orange Cassidy, The Acclaimed, and Bullet Club Gold. Bullet Club Gold led the pack in terms of the highest-selling specific item, which was the Bullet Club Gold t-shirt. Punk's Best in the World t-shirt came in second place, followed by Orange Cassidy's t-shirt, Jade Cargill's action figure, and the Punk and FTR Foundation t-shirt. For the wrestling news, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And turning to Japan, the Dragon Gate Promotions' 18th annual King of Gate tournament kicked off yesterday inside Tokyo's Korakuen Hall. Yesterday saw the first 4 matches take place. The tourney opener saw Kizi defeat Ida, followed by Punch Tominaga topping BB Hulk, Big Boss Shimizu upending Shun Skywalker, and Madoka Kikuta defeating Masaki Mochizuki. This year's King of Gate consists of 32 wrestlers competing in a single elimination tournament, which runs from July 7th to August 3rd. Yuki Yoshioka took home the honor last year. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.